its 110-year history, Alfa Romeo has created a rich back catalogue of some of the world's most amazing concept cars. Alfa Romeo concepts have often been the product of legendary Italian carrozzerias such as Pininfarina, Bertone, Touring or Ital-Design. And here are just a few of our favourites. The very first of Alfa's concepts was early enough that the word Romeo hadn't yet been added to its name. A.L.F.A stands for Anonimo Lombarda Fabbrica Automobili. This curious automobile rolled out of the Carrozzeria Castagna works in 1914, having been commissioned by local aristocrat Count Marco Ricotti. An early exercise in aerodynamics, the driver sat several feet behind the windscreen, making it pretty useless for forward vision. But the aerodynamica's streamlined shape meant that the paltry 70 horsepower that the car's four-cylinder engine produced was still enough to carry it to a scary-sounding 86 miles an hour. A full five-seater, the Count would later remove the roof for that extra eccentricity. The BAT cars had nothing to do with the Caped Crusader. The name was an acronym of Berlinetta Aerodinamica Tecnica. They were produced between 1953 and 1955 by Bertone as research projects into creating cars with the lowest possible drag coefficient. All three cars were penned by Franco Scaglione and used Alfa Romeo 1900 chassis and powertrains. Their low drag and light weight allowed them to hit speeds in excess of 125 miles an hour. The cars were honoured with 2008's sculptured BAT 11 concept based on the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. The stunning Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ was a limited production special to homologate a racer based on 105 series mechanicals. Just over 100 were built, but 2 chassis were provided to Bertone and Pininfarina to each produce a concept. Bertone created the cute Conguro, the Italian for kangaroo, in 1964. But the car was later written off in a head-on accident with the Chevrolet Testudo, the turtle, another Bertone design. After possibly the only crash featuring 2 animal-themed concepts, the Conguro was rebuilt and voted best in show at the Villa d'Este Concours d'Elegance in 2005. The Pininfarina 1600 Sport was designed by Aldo Brovarone, the man behind the Dino 206 GT, with obvious shared styling cues. This also received an award at Villa d'Este, 5 years after its sister car. The early 1970s saw new American safety regulations which car makers thought might kill off the convertible. The Alfa Romeo ALFETTA Spider by Pininfarina showed how a replacement for the Duetto Spider could be safe and stylish. Totally different to the Duetto's rounded cuttlefish styling, the ALFETTA Spider had a distinct grand touring vibe. The 105-based Alfa Romeo Spider soldiered on for another 2 decades, but it's readily apparent that the ALFETTA Spider's design would later become the Lancia Gamma Coupe. Everyone remembers that time Ital-Design made a New York yellow cab based on the Alfa Romeo van, right? This bizarre turn of events came in response to a brief by MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, for designs for a future city taxi. Ital-Design's concept was based on an Alfa Romeo F12 van and provided space for 5 occupants in a car the size of a Ford Fiesta. It was one of the first uses of sliding doors as we know them today, and there's even a very minimalist interpretation of the Alfa Romeo shield grille. On Alfa Romeo's 1983 Geneva Motor Show stand were Bertone's Delfino and Zagato's Zeta 6 concepts. Both were based on the GT V6 and presented very different ideas of a modern Alfa Romeo Grand Tourer. The Zeta 6 looked like a little brother to the big Porsche 928 Coupe, which was, by that point, 5 years old. Bertone's Delfino took the GT3's wedgy styling to greater extremes. There was a trapezoidal glasshouse, strong horizontal character lines along the front and back of the car, and concealed headlamps. In the first year of Fiat's ownership of Alfa Romeo, this pair of Pininfarina concepts, a coupe and a convertible, were a softening of the company's previous angular styling philosophy. Between them, they would inspire the next generation of Alfas well into the 1990s. The two-tone bodywork, with its rising beltline, shield grille integrated into a smooth bonnet, and rear light stripe, were all to be seen on the 164 saloon. While the 1994 Alfa Romeo GTV and Spider, which wouldn't debut until 1994, also shared closely related wedge-profiled body lines. The Alfa Romeo NUVOLA was a demonstration of modern coach-built cars. Alfa Romeo would supply a chassis, which Carrozzeria could then create their own bodywork for. Power was supplied by a twin-turbo version of the Busso V6, driving all four wheels through a 6-speed manual gearbox. The NUVOLA was the work of a group of student designers working under Walter de Silva at Alfa Romeo's Centro Stile. Its name means cloud, but also references famed racing driver Tazio Nuvolari, who won both Grand Prix and the Le Mans 24-hour for Alfa Romeo in the interwar period. The Scighera, meaning mist, was based on the Alfa Romeo 164 saloon. It took that car's 3-litre Busso V6, twin-turbocharged it, and turned it around, so it sat behind the cabin driving all four wheels. The windscreen harks back to the Alfa Romeo races of the 1960s, while the doors open separately from the gull-wing side windows. A huge rear wing had a brake light across its entire width, while the bonnet featured an integrated buttress wing for front downforce. A.L.F.A, who penned this concept, wanted to take the Scighera racing, adding a giant fixed rear wing to this carbon fibre nutjob. Sadly, their wishes were never fulfilled. The Diva predates the Alfa Romeo 4C by several years, but shares its carbon fibre construction, multi-LED headlights, and mid-mounted production engine. The 3.2 V6 Busso was placed in a heavily modified Alfa Romeo 159 chassis, driving only the rear wheels. Styling paid homage to the 33 Stradale, including the butterfly doors, side air intakes, and mesh vent panels. Shown at the Geneva Motor Show, the interior of this Elise-sized car was a letdown, looking more like an unfinished racer than an exotic concept car. This was Pininfarina's update of the classic 1966 Alfa Romeo Duetto, styled to evoke its gentle curves and scalloped sides. The car's odd name comes from a horrible amalgamation of the numeral 2, the word Duetto, and the word Ottanta, or 80, celebrating Pininfarina's 8 decades in design. Pininfarina claimed that the car was production ready at the 2010 Geneva Motor Show. The same size as an MX-5, the Duetto-Ottanta used the 1.7-litre 4-cylinder turbo engine from the Giulietta Cloverleaf. But Alfa Romeo was already working on the 4C instead. So now all we can do is think what might have been.